I can remember around this time, about 5 years ago, I was in this exact position. I remember going on Google and typing in tips for first year university students. Like, I was so clueless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to be okay. And especially as someone that was traveling away from home to a state that I have never lived in prior to that time, away from my parents, away from like things that were familiar to me. It was a particularly scary but at the same time exciting point in my life, and I am so grateful that 5 years later I am in this position where I can give advice based on my own personal experiences and things I have witnessed, and just not like cliche advice that you see on Google. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniela Antoine and I am a 500 level medical student in Nile University of Nigeria, Abuja. Please like and subscribe if you're new here and leave me a comment down below. Let's get into like tips for first year university students. I'm going to be sharing my advice into three major categories. The first, and which is probably the most important category, is the mindset shifts or mindset I think you should have. Second is people, because people and your relationships are going to heavily influence how your university experience plays out. The third is school, which is like the actual reason your parents are paying school fees for you to go, or you're funding yourself to go to uni. I have a cold actually at the moment, so I'm very congested. My voice is going to sound a bit wonky. Of course, nose up, always coming in clutch. So mindset shifts. The first one is that uni is honestly the beginning of the rest of your life. So take it seriously. This is not secondary school. This is not a do-over. It's not a joke. In uni, you're actually going to transition from adolescence into like full adulthood, or you may even be entering as an adult already into uni. This is not to scare you. It's not like take it seriously like, oh, God, no. Just accept to yourself that it's something serious and treat it as such. You understand? Also, excuse my poor manners, I failed to include our co-star of today's video, Chloe. Say hi to Chloe. This is my baby. Chloe, say hi to the YouTube family. The second mindset shift that you should have is that change is inevitable, and in uni, you will experience a lot of changes. Trust me, like things will continue to change. Things in school, the people around you, your family, you as a person, very importantly, you as a person, there's going to be a lot of change. And some of these changes you might like, some of these changes you may not like. But nonetheless, you should embrace both of those changes, because both the good and the bad changes are going to bring about growth in you. And that growth is necessary. That growth needs to happen. The growth is life. If you resist it, you're resisting life. You're resisting evolving. You're resisting growing. So just open up your mind to change. Next tip I have for you is that you should take personal development seriously. It is so important to become self-aware, and if you don't know where to start, self-awareness is basically just you knowing yourself. So my first advice is to keep a journal. You can do shadow work. You can Google up like shadow work questions, deep questions. Basically actually find out who you are in uni, because I feel like high school is a time where not only are we very, very young, we're also very, very gullible. So a lot of times in high school, most of us didn't really know who we were. We were just kind of like moving along with the crowd or trends and doing what was like perceived to be cool and stuff. Don't bring that smelling character into uni. Actually grow up. Like, be mindful, very mindful of who you are as a person. My next tip is learn as much as you can outside of the classroom, because yeah, you're in uni to learn about your degree, obviously about your course, but it would be much more beneficial to you if you learn stuff outside of your curriculum. Learn about your hobbies, learn about the people around you, learn about the environment you're in, learn about the culture of the people around you, learn about just stuff that interests you. Like, you never actually know, to be honest. Let me just give a quick backstory. Like in 100 level, yeah, so I grew up in Port Harcourt, which is like in the south of Nigeria, and I went to my secondary school in Akwa Ibom, which is also in the south of Nigeria. Now I school in Abuja for my university, and so you can imagine the culture shock I had moving to Abuja 5 years ago after living the first 16 years of my life in the south. There was a lot of culture shock, and I just want to thank God for the kind of friends I had in 100 level that were very kind to me. They didn't treat me being curious with like content, but they're very patient to like show me around and actually teach me about the culture. I learned so much about like the northern culture in general, specifically the Hausa culture, because like that's the most popular culture. I learned about the food. I love the food. I still learned the language anyways, but like I didn't go very far, but like at least now I know one or two. Do you understand me? I learned about the religion as well, Islam. I can't even imagine who I would be if I had not come to school here, and not only that I didn't come to school here, but learn about the culture here and the people here and the traditions here, and actually immersing myself in the tradition as well. I just can't imagine who I would be. Like, I would be such a very, very different person, and I'm just so grateful for the experience and how that has shaped me as an individual today. I say all that to say, learn about stuff. Don't say, oh, like, this is not how I grew up. No, like, don't do that. Okay, now on to category 2. We'll be talking about people. This category might be shocking to some people, but then again, it may not be shocking to some other people, because probably the most important thing that influences like the outcome of our life at the end of the day, apart from ourselves and the choices we make, is like the people we keep around us and the relationships that we have, the relationships that we nurture, the relationships that we invest in, and also the people that invest in us as well. Your time in uni, is going to be heavily influenced by the kind of company you keep around you and basically your culture around relating with people. My first advice is that you should actually open up yourself to meeting people. Don't say, oh, I've already had my friends from secondary school. Okay, and my second piece of advice would be to have your own personal negotiables and non-negotiables when it comes to dealing with people. What do I mean? If you're on the younger side, honestly, I don't like to think age is an excuse, because if you're entering uni, then you're basically classified an adult, in my opinion. It's never too early to decide, and actually the earlier you decide, the better. It's just deciding within yourself how far you're willing to go and how far you're not willing to go, because a lot of times I find that like one of the major things that really destroys people in uni is doing things just for the sake of like peer pressure, or just like wanting that feeling of validation, or wanting that feeling of like belonging, and so they get carried away doing things that like just take them away from themselves. That will only lead you to a point of having like so many regrets, because one day you're going to just look back, maybe at the end of your uni journey, you're just going to look back and be like, I really wish I didn't do that, man. Like, that was so stupid. There was literally no need for me to have done that. Do you understand what I mean? Have boundaries as a person. It is required. Have boundaries, have values. Not every single one of your friends is going to have the same values as you, but that is why boundaries are important. Just because you don't agree with me, that's fine. We are still friends, we are still cool, but I don't have to do something just because you want to do it. Do you get me? You get what I mean? Yeah. The next tip is quality over quantity when it comes to friends, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to relationships in general. Having a few solid close friends, in my opinion, will always be superior to just hanging with every single person, because let's just face the facts, like everybody cannot be your friend. That's just the truth. And my next tip, which will sound like I'm almost contradicting myself, is that every single friendship does not need to be a deep friendship for it to be valued. Let me explain. If there's one thing I've learned, not if there's one thing I've learned, because I've learned a lot of things, but in my 5 years of uni, I have really come to understand that surface level friendships are just as important as deep, close, like soulmate, soul tie friendships, if you will. Because I really used to struggle with like accepting or understanding the concept of like surface level friends, because I used to feel like every single friend must be my like soulmate, my heartthrob, or else like that friendship was invalid. But like that's literally not the case. Like some friends are just like gisting friends, some friends are just catching up friends, some friends are errand friends, some friends are your soulmate friends, some friends are your school friends. Yes, like let's just face it. What you will realize here in uni and just like in life in general is that like we go through so many transition periods, we go through so many like phases of transition, and those friends that will stick with you through every single phase are very rare. They are to be valued, they are to be appreciated. But then again, there are friends that are there for just a season, and those friends are valid as well because they are in your life for a reason. Next tip, which is associated to the last thing I just said, is over time friendships may change. Like you may have friends that are like in 100 level, you guys will be locked in, you guys be inseparable, and then like over time just find that you guys are like growing apart, and it's not because of like you did something to the person or the person did something to you. It's just really you guys growing apart, because uni is a time where you really experience a lot of growth as a person if you're intentional about it. Anyways, every individual is not the same, and you might meet somebody and you guys are like on the same level of like on the same wavelength where you guys like complement each other in the friendship, and then as you guys continue to evolve and grow as individuals and human beings, you guys find that you're actually growing apart. It is part of life, and it will hurt like a bitch because it's like, yeah man, I thought me and you were for life first. But that's okay. At the end of the day, if you're a true friend, you're happy for this other person's growth, even if it comes at the cost of like you guys' closeness. The next tip is to just be a good person. And this is probably the most important tip when it comes to treating people. Like, just genuinely be a good person. Be kind to people, like, as much as you can. I don't think I'm the kindest person. I'm just going to say that. Or like the nicest person, if you will. Sometimes I think I'm too reserved for my own good. I'm not causing you any trouble, but at the same time, I'm not going out of my way to be kind or like have a positive impact in people's life. And it's something I'm still working on. I'm trying to, honestly, I'm not trying hard enough, but it's or in my mind somewhere, seeing how you can be of help to people is so important. Not because of anything. The first thing is, number one, it's just good to be good to people. Number two, you never actually know where you meet these people in uni again. You never actually know, like, life can be so unpredictable, and you never know, like, it's because of one little tiny gesture, and like how you help someone out, something so tiny or something so minuscule where this person is like, you just gave yourself a soft, really soft spot in this person's heart. And while we're still on the topic of being genuinely nice to people, like, be genuinely nice to other people as well, like non-academic workers, like cleaners, the security people, your supervisors in the hostel. It's just good to have friends in strategic places. Yeah, so that's a bonus tip. Just be nice to everybody, treat everybody with respect. Just go out of your way to make people feel comfortable around you. On to the next category, which is the category of school. You know, the reason why your parents actually paid for you to come to uni. My first, Jesus, bless my soul. The first advice I'll give you, please just hold your ear. Listen to me. You see, I'm drawing my ear. Draw your own ear too. Please, I'm begging you, study what you like. Study what you have interest in. Study what you actually have passion. See, you get why you should start now, yeah, to learn how to disappoint people. Disappoint people mercilessly. Like, when it comes to, yeah, either you disappointing yourself or disappointing other people, please always choose other people. Always disappoint other people before you disappoint yourself. You don't want to come to uni here and spend like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years studying a course that you absolutely like. Guy, do you know you're going to hate your life? I'm so sorry. Like, uni is already hard enough as it is, yeah. Then imagine now going through something so hard for something you don't even like. Like, you just wake up every day and you hate yourself, guy. Even if you've already applied to a course and you know that deep down in the deepest part of your hearts, you don't want to do that course, but you know, your mother or your father or your uncle or your auntie or your family legacy, everybody in your family has been an engineer, everybody has been a lawyer, so they're like waiting for you to continue. Just disappoint them, okay? Disappoint them in advance. The next tip that I will give is that you should actually take your academics seriously. Because think about it, it doesn't make sense that either you or your parents would invest so much for you to come to uni, and then you will not come and just be doing anyhow. Like, yeah, I know, like, we get tired and it's hard and, you know, you get lazy over time. But if you actually think about it objectively, it doesn't make sense for you to be here and then not put 100% of your effort, because then why are you here? Attend classes, like, it's very, very important. Some people don't benefit from lectures anyway. Some people say they gain more when they actually study on their own. But personally, I find that lectures are very, very helpful. They help to limit the amount of work that you have to do on your own. Apart from attending lectures, like, actually study. Maybe because me, I'm a medical student, so I believe in studying every day. You actually find that when exam comes, you're not overwhelmed. My next tip or advice is that you should form revision groups or study groups. Yes, not more than 4 people, because we know how those study groups get. Once the numbers keep on expanding, yeah, the purpose gets defeated. The smaller, the better. Also, it's necessary that all of you in the study group are reading. Not that the blind will come and be leading the blind inside the study group. Like, how will you come to the study group meeting and nobody has read anything? Like, it's not going to make sense. Do you understand? And then it's now like some people are leeching off of others. It has to be something that is mutually beneficial to everybody involved. So my next tip is past questions. Like, history always repeats itself. Yeah, even in uni. Past questions are your best friend. Past questions will almost always come out. The lecturers have other things to do outside of lecturing. They are busy. They, are probably going through midlife crisis. They have families, nagging wives, and okay, sorry, I'm reaching at this point, but basically what I'm trying to say is that most lecturers will not go and sit down and start setting questions. questions for you from scratch. So take past questions very seriously, revise them. You will always tend to find the similarities, and even if the question does not exactly come out the way it is in the past question, you're familiar with the structure in which the questions come. Okay, baby? Yeah. The rest of my academic advice is in my advice for medical students in Nigeria video, which will be in the cards up somewhere, either the left or the right. I know it says medical students, but honestly, the advice I gave in that video is applicable to all students, so you should watch that. Everything that's meant to happen for you will happen for you. Don't go out of your way to try to impress anybody. Don't go out of your way to try to live above your means. Don't even come and be comparing yourself to anybody. Like, you'll meet people from different, vast backgrounds. Some people are wealthier than you. At the end of the day, regardless upon still, you're here for yourself. You're here to work on yourself, to develop yourself. And that's outside of your education. That's outside of the degree you're getting. Like, as an individual, you're here to expand your network, make connections with people, discover your interests. And like, those are the things you should be actively pursuing. And have fun still in uni. Like, my next tip is balance. We can be looking like our sorrows Monday to Friday, but Saturday we're going to leave it up. Sunday we're going to rest, and Monday we're back on the grind. Okay, I live for balance. I'm the queen of balance, because I cannot be working morning till night as well. Can you see my skin? Like, I'm even too soft to even like engage in anything stressful. My next tip is extracurriculars. Apply yourself in all these like students union-ish things. Like, if you have the interest, like, don't let fear, I just stretched out my legs, I'm so sorry. Don't let like fear hold you back from like actually doing stuff. Like, if you want to run for something, run for it. If you want to contest for something, contest for it. Always put yourself out there. Who cares if you don't like win? At least you tried, and like, you have the experience of actually contesting for something. Personally, I'm not even going to take this advice that I just gave, like this particular one, because like, I'm not interested. Let me just say the truth. The course that I'm reading, I don't even want to be reading it. Do you understand? So why would I now go through the extra hardship and torment of further immersing myself? No, baby, I ain't doing that. So that's why I also said that it is important to do something that you actually like, because then this advice applies. You get me? Other creators, other YouTubers would like address the other common advice that you will hear about uni. But I really want to talk about the mindset, and I really want to talk about people, because those two things are very, very key. I think that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. That'll be all for today, class. Bye, and until next time. Mwah.